Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Headingley for this Greene King IPA Championship third round match between Yorkshire Carnegie and Doncaster Knights. This is set to be a right royal Yorkshire derby featuring the stalwart sides of the league who both made the playoffs last season. The playoffs now though, well, they are a thing of the past. It's back to the old top of the tree format, and both of these sides will hope to be in contention right to the end come April, May next year. My name's Nick Heath, great to have your company tuning in through championshiprugby.co.uk, the England Rugby website and of course Facebook page. This is our featured match this weekend. Only one of two fixtures being played. Bristol Rugby playing Richmond, and our featured match here, Yorkshire Carnegie against Doncaster Knights. Looking at the table then, we can have a look at bottom half where Yorkshire Carnegie, well, they started the weekend in 7th, they're there in 9th of course with this game in hand, so they'll be looking to move up. It's their first game at home. And then into the top half of the table, Doncaster Knights unbeaten after a 44-0 thumping of local rivals Rotherham. And let's have a look at how the two teams line up today. Yorkshire Carnegie head coach James Lowe's weak, tall, 6'4" winger Harry and Louis Brown. Other than that, the side will look to perform well for their first home game of the season. There are three changes to the bench. Mike Mayhew and Richard Beck return from injury to replace Ross Graham and Lewis Wilson. And prop Elliot Miller-Mills, who's joined on loan from Caldy, could make his debut after replacing James Thraves. If you're experiencing a couple of audio gremlins, then we are just working to get that sorted out, so do bear with us as we run through the Doncaster Knights team. Clive Griffiths names an unchanged and well, those two names at 13 and 14 stand out, don't they? Junior and Andy Buller-Macau. And it seems that it's a good moment to bring in alongside me the former Carnegie man and England Sevens captain Rob Vickerman. Rob, great to have you with us for this one, and well, going through those two team lineups, the likes of Elliot Miller-Mills, who of course his sister played in that Women's Rugby World Cup, Richard Mayhew, Ollie Steadman. It's a tasty looking lineup.
It is indeed, showing once more the Championship is a great breeding ground.
Okay, we're just going to try and sort out our audio. Sorry to interrupt you there, Rob. We'll be back in just a moment. Do stay with us. Back to Steadman. Ball's picked up by Forsyth. Greene opts to go short to the left. Into Josh Bainbridge. Once again, apologies for our little sound issue, but hopefully you're back with us and you haven't missed any of the action. Max Greene fires it off to the right. Looking again, got players running round the outside. Jack Wetton. Ball nudged into the corner, and Yorkshire keeping the pressure on Doncaster Knights in these opening few exchanges.
There's a astute start there by Carnegie, trying to probe into the corner. They know they're not going to be wearing down this Doncaster team in the first 20 minutes, but it's about building a platform, trying to put pressure on their line out and get their big lumps themselves involved in the game.
Decent take on the defensive line. Plenty of pressure still from Yorkshire, but Doncaster look to try and come away down that left side, and this is an early opportunity. Tyson Lewis still stepping, still going up to the halfway line. Solid run from the left winger. It's a fan favourite from Plymouth Albion several years ago, and well, actually the rain starts to come down now, so that's going to make things interesting, just as the ball will get a little bit slippy. And then Buller Macau. It's away from Heaney. Carry on from Richard List. Heaney again, bending to pick it up. Humberston just keeps it alive. This is solid stuff from Doncaster. And the rain just gets a little bit heavier. There are bright skies around, but this is going to be a bit of a test for the players in the early exchanges. Referee with the arm out, playing advantage. Humberston gets it away. List again. Michael Hills feeds it on to Junior Buller Macau that time. You can hear the rain coming down heavy on the roof here. Donny into Challoner. This is good phase play from the visitors. Looking to go round the outside again. Into the 22. Heaney. Humberston will look to carry and try and punch those holes around the edge of the ruck. Andy Buller Macau again. Into that 22. It's been a solid couple of minutes of possession for Doncaster. This has come right from their own line. Taking a while to get that one out. Nominated man to take it was Challoner, who will just set up another platform. For the referee, it says penalty Yorkshire. Well, after all that effort.
All that effort, and the thing to mention there, Nick, is the patience on both teams, showing already there the threat that Doncaster possessed. So comfortable in shifting the ball. They've got big men who are distributors, as well as being able to cart it up. So the Carnegie defence was challenged very much so early doors there. Tyson Lewis having a lovely break on the left-hand side. But just shows how quickly this Doncaster team can get in their patterns. They've been doing a lot of work with Francis Cummins about pod work, so expect to see similar types and style of play with their big men being used in the middle.
The voice of Rob Vickerman alongside me. Great to have your company wherever you're watching. Do get in touch with us, #ChampRugby. I'd love to know where you're tuning in around the world, what your thoughts are on both of these sides as we look over, of course, to the stand that is being redeveloped. Yorkshire now through Alex Davis. Football, penalty, turnover. Doncaster congratulated themselves. Referee is Carl Dixon, of course. Only just hung up the boots as a player, and now he's got the whistle in his hand. situation to gain more respect from his fellow players, or be in for more ribbing, Rob Vicker?
A bit of both, I imagine. I think it's one of these things you have to learn on the job, don't you? And what we're hoping to get with Carl Dixon is a very fast game. Both teams have come here expressing the fact they want to play attacking rugby. They have lots of outstanding players out wide to exploit that space, and the referee very much sticking to it. But if you're not there quick enough to secure it, he will be penalising, as we saw there. Ben Hunter, about to throw it in, was great at the breakdown.
Here come Donny down the near side. Michael Heaney feeding away. Heaney spills it. Referee Dixon happy with it. And then it's been knocked on. And the rain may be just having a little bit of an effect at this stage as it just gets a little bit slippery.
I'm enjoying the wry smile on the face there. Carl Dixon knows exactly what it's like to be a scrum half with a wet ball at the base of a ruck, so expect him to be having no sympathy whatsoever to the players as they appeal to him.
He allowed a little smile to break out on his face there, did Carl Dixon. Both sides really buffeting that scrum around. Wasn't the steadiest of platforms for Max Greene to get that ball in.
Now this Doncaster forward pack really do set their stall at scrum time. Quigley, List, Hunter, the old guys like the old ABC club. Formidable players, great characters of the game. As you can see, they're built to scrummage, which is a very polite way of putting it.
It's like saying someone has a bubbly personality. But they are the sort of wizened, gnarled old characters that when, you know, Premiership teams drop down into the Championship, they certainly don't like facing. Because these guys will chew you up and spit you out at scrum time, and they will love doing so. But on that occasion, it's Yorkshire who get the free kick. Steadman with the break. Oh, then it's gone forwards again. Just a few little errors creeping in, with things a bit damp out there.
That's one of those with a dry ball. You catch them all day long, just about half a foot perhaps behind Matt Smith as the galloping giraffe comes round the corner. If it's not on the money for some of these front five, running at pace, engaging the line, it's a very difficult thing to catch the ball.
Look on the Yorkshire bench as they watch on. Another big drive before the ball comes in. It's Yorkshire who are on the receiving end of the free kick that time.
A couple of short arms, interestingly. Carl Dixon not opting to go for the full arm, full penalty, making these types of situations where players want to just play through it.
Big carry from Challoner sets up the platform. Now they go back out again, keeping the ball alive that time, looking like they were going for the second phase, but actually it was out the back door. Didn't quite connect on the far side wing. And we've just got a bit of a stop-start game in the last couple of minutes.
Looks like a bit of a reclamation yard behind them there. There's a south stand, famous around the world, now getting demolished and rebuilt.
Change is going to come. Yorkshire line out. Oh, a little bit of a fumble at the back, and it'll come down for Doncaster. In a nice area, they'll fancy their chances here. Little shimmy on the outside break from Will Owen. Made the move to Doncaster Knights in April, did Owen. Used to the Championship grounds, former Rotherham skipper. Come back this way again. There is Owen, feeding it on to Buller Macau. The long-haired List. Heaney, Humberston. Releases out the back. Charlie Foley throws that long ball, trying to find a little hole through the middle. That's the 22-metre line. Doncaster Knights find a bit of go forward, but then it's spilled backwards, and it was just a tackle. No offside line, but not the cleanest of clearances. It's come off a Doncaster Knights hand, though. Yorkshire will have a defensive line out in their own 22. The rain has abated. It's just a showery afternoon up north.
It's a rare thing, I must say. It's a rare thing.
I heard it's normally 25 degrees in this part of the world.
Although people don't like wearing shirts, you're right there, Nick.
Yeah. Just over the halfway line, hint of a high tackle there, but referee Dixon not quite positioned perhaps to see it. Max Greene. High hanging kick, putting the pressure under Lewis, but Foley comes forward and says he'll claim it, and then he'll give it to the pace man. Into the tackle, all the bodies on the floor. Heaney decides he's going to have to help the clear-out effort as List plays scrum half. Shovels that one up into the hands of Alex Shaw. 30-year-old real club man. Doncaster go in again to try and make the clearance. It's a good body position from Charlie Beach, and he's won that turnover. That's brilliant from Beach.
Always good to see the big man over the ball, isn't it? So hard to move them. You can see him there, perfectly poised. Such a big man, knocking 20 stones. Trying to move him from that position's almost impossible, although he does look slightly like the Hood.
Originally on loan 4 years ago, the former Saints Academy man. Spent his time at Wasps, of course. Charlie Beach, 30 years of age. Coaches at Wetherby RFC. I think if he told you what to do, you'd probably do it. Carnegie then just take a moment to make sure they get the calls right.
Obviously a late change coming in, Nick. I know we mentioned pre-game that Alex Davis was pivotal to this as the 10, Callan Irvine stepping in, so he's really trying to get these plays and patterns up and running. Bear in mind he probably hasn't practiced this much this week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if we can to find out a little more about that late change, and try and do so as time goes on. In the meantime, this line out turn Maul moves one way and then the other, and back again. Yorkshire Carnegie back in control, then they manage to get it to ground. Doncaster Knights trying to get in there and spoil it. Referee Dixon says it was taken in and there wasn't enough go forward, so Doncaster Knights will be pleased with turning that one over.
You can see now all the backs running in, padding the backs of the forwards. That really does show how pivotal it is to stop these driving mauls. Such a weapon in the championship game. Forward packs dominating at lineouts, often wanting to try and secure the easy try by pushing over with a human shield in front of them.
Sorry, go on, Rob.
First off, a little bit of a trick from Doncaster at this point. They know they've got Tyson Lewis on the left-hand side. He is out and out pace. Really tight Carnegie backline here. Clive Griffiths, he's known for putting a few tricks in how they try and attack. So expect to see something perhaps a little bit different.
Carl Dixon's got a job to do here, just to try and get the two packs steady enough for a ball in. We've had a few free kicks before we've had a real contest. Heaney, Irishman in his second spell with Doncaster Knights, having rejoined after a spell at Ulster a few years ago, and now he's decided it will be the long arm penalty. I was under the impression the boys in the championship love a good scrum. We barely had one yet.
Yeah, he was saying there the knee went down. That was his first point to penalise there. Often when you look at these types of scrums, it's just massive men pushing against each other. It must be so difficult to decide where the force is going.
It's a really decent clearance kick, actually. It's got a good 50 metres on that, and it will take Doncaster Knights once again just up outside the Yorkshire Carnegie 22. Doncaster Knights 2 from 2 this season, if you're just joining us. They put that 44 points to nil thumping against Rotherham in round 2, and Yorkshire Carnegie will have their work cut out to keep them out here as Will Owen thumps it up as only he knows how. Humberston, then Buller McCow. Foley's joining. Bullimacau uses him as a bit of a decoy and then takes the contact. Now presents it. Heaney is having to guard it, and now Junior Bullimacau will go in to try and play scrum half. There's a real battle. Now Donny have more men in, and Richard List will get it away. Then it's quickly flicked out the back from Shaw. Trying to create some room on the far side. Owen. Then the little chip. 7 metres out now. Heaney looks off to the right. Humberston again had to scoop low to get it. Then on to Tom Hicks. Another one of the ex-Rotherham players signed to bolster the Doncaster ranks. Oh, that's lovely soft hands. Tyson Lewis could be into the corner. What's the decision between the referee and his assistant? They're going to have a little conflab here. No TMO here in the Greene King Championship. And I think the decision is he was touch in goal over the over the try line, so we're coming back for a 22.
You can see wonderful hands here. The forwards combining well. Chandler to Hills, buying a bit of space for Lewis. Francis Cummins mentioned pre-game about how simple the game is. Exactly what we just saw there.
22 dropout is made straight down the centre of the park, gathered in by Carpenter. Heaney feeds off to Tom Hicks again, then out to Humberston, Owen, Foley, and it's Junior Bullimacau as well with the strong left-hand fend. Heaney now, Humberston, they avoid Hicks into List that time. Gets a decent low position, just out of your shot to, well, at the bottom of our commentary position, Charlie Foley's taken a bit of a knock, looks a little bit light on his feet here, Foley. There's no scrum half here currently. Well, Owen's going to have to get that service away, which he does to Humberston. Joe Buckle in there trying to make the tackle. Hunter with the carry, then it goes through the legs. Foley. Heaney looks left, has options right. It's in the big shape of number 4, Matt Challoner. He gets it away to Heaney, then Heaney back inside to List, who's a little bit isolated, and Yorkshire look to take advantage, but Carl Dixon is bringing them back for a penalty. And we might have our first chance of points on the board for the afternoon.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of a surprise there, Nick. You see this time Doncaster usually like to go for the corner, but they're trying to get the points, building the lead. First points, hard to imagine before this game. You would not have thought it'd get to 20 minutes before any point was scored, but showing just how much intent is there and how good the defence is also.
Yeah, we've had a few little free kicks and penalties at scrum time, but actually we've also been treated to a fair amount of ball in play time so far in this one.
It's really impressive how Doncaster play, and if people are watching who play a lot of club rugby, think about how you can use this type of style round the corner. Really simple, getting the big men in the front line but able to handle. It brings in so much more width into the game. Wonderful play from Doncaster, and rightly rewarding them with the 3 points.
Penalty effort is good. Doncaster Knights then get the first points of the afternoon through the boot of Simon Humberston, league's joint top scorer ahead of this weekend. It's Yorkshire Carnegie 0, Doncaster Knights 3. Irvine. Deep restart into the hands of Heaney, who will clear straight away. Chris Elder gathers it for Yorkshire. He's not going to rush himself into this one.
What a kick from Heaney. His clearance there, often told about exit sets being pivotal in the game. He's just kicked that from his own 22 and it has gone the far side of the 10-metre line. That's exactly what you want from a 9. What a great clearance.
And kit supplier explodes.
Plenty of noise here down below us. We aim to get the calls right. Greene will have to tidy up. Harry Davis, tall winger, the one change. That's headway, but It's another penalty. Doncaster Knights might fancy this as a chance to double the lead. Humberston has one little look and the call comes through.
Ben Hunter loves a bit of a breakdown. You can see there Max Greene barking at his forwards. Charlie Beach in front of him being questioned why he wasn't in the ruck. If you're a front five forward, you've got to secure the ball. In that situation, they didn't. Doncaster sniffed an opportunity and blitzed through the middle of it.
We're live streaming on the Championship Rugby website, .co.uk, and on englandrugby.com and on Facebook. Do let us know where you're watching. #ChampRugby. As Doncaster Knights look to double their lead. Humberston looks to have drilled it pretty well. Flags go up. 2 from 2 for the Doncaster fly half. It's Yorkshire Carnegie 0, Doncaster Knights 6. Doncaster with the restart. Yorkshire with the restart down into Doncaster territory. Buller Macau. Heaney gets it away. Got to make this exit under more pressure. Had to make the box kick that time. Chris Elder comes forward to take it. Will fire it away to Irvine, who jinks his way towards a little gap, half thought about going through. Greene again. Players round the corner. Charlie Beach with a carry that time. Doncaster trying to hold him up, but now it pops out the back. Pete Lucott. Didn't really work. Just nudged forwards. Little bit of inaccuracy from Yorkshire Carnegie, and they're just not really finding a chance to get momentum.
No, exactly that, Nick. You got it spot on there. Not got that fluidity in phase play, not got that structure that Doncaster seem to just go to as a default. And with that, if the pass isn't quite accurate enough, if you're not in the right place, the errors creep in. That is the thing that's stopping this Carnegie team. Chris Elder gets the ball out wide. He's an exciting player, but he needs to be able to get the ball in the right area.
Doncaster, of course, part of that, aren't they? You know, the physicality in those tackles is not allowing Yorkshire an inch so far. Of course, when they met at Castle Park in March, it was a 31 points to 26 win to Doncaster. They each won their home games last season, incidentally. Chris Elder getting a brace, but Macau getting a brace on that occasion. Two teams that like to score tries.
You would hope.
6-0, 2 penalties so far. Doesn't tell us that story, but plenty of time to go yet.
It's an interesting point. You know, this Carnegie team come into it knowing that this Doncaster team are formidable. They've got the same team they played last week. However, they do want to tire them out. They're targeting the last 20 minutes as a time where they can really try and crank it up the pace, obviously pending the weather.
Well, the sun is now shining. We've had showers so far. Sunshine on a rainy day. That's quiz question number 1. Who sung that? What year? We are just outside the 22. Oh, Heaney, has he knocked that on? There's an appeal from Yorkshire. Is that a part of the ex-scrum half club there? Carl Dixon happy not to give. Might have been nudged backwards anyway, but Heaney will clear his lines. Elder comes forward to take it just outside his own 10-metre line. Little shimmy, which way is he going? And he's judo thrown to the floor. And Yorkshire have got to work hard to get that back, which they now have. Greene. It's untidy from Greene. He needs one of his forwards to get in there and help protect and secure that ball. Irvine. Nice little cross-field effort. It's with enough depth to raise some questions of Foley, and then, well, that's a decent turnaround. And has that gone forwards? No matter. Yorkshire will try and take the advantage. They are getting the advantage. Kick downfield. Tyson Lewis picks it up. Advantage over, and now Doncaster Knights with a chance to counter-attack. Couple of minutes of free-flowing structure rugby. Tom Hicks. Doncaster just knocking that ball forwards as they come through, so this is turnover possession again, and Andy Forsyth feeds it away to Lucock. Greene. Then it's Matt Smith, with that carry, then Greene again. They're not getting an awful lot of change out of this Doncaster defence, it has to be said. Trying to find those yards, trying to punch their way through. It's Lucock again who'll try and do so. And he'll grab, well, half a metre past the gain line on that occasion. Then Greene. Little closer quarters to find Bainbridge that time. Jack Wetton, the Kiwi. On to Davis, clearly looking to make an impact. Doncaster Knights just giving them no time whatsoever on the ball.
Yeah, they're interestingly not committed many men to the ruck. If they think it's on, they'll compete. If they don't, they leave it. Mayhew,
and it's away now then. Have they created some room on the outside here? Elder just drifts into the gap. Heaney was marking, but we're coming back because well, a few players are having a kiss and a cuddle on the 22. I think it's the reason Colin Quigley pulls on the shirt every week.
It must be strange, again, mentioning the referee here, the first time Carl Dixon's probably ever ran towards a fight.
He's having a chat with his assistant here. Apologies if you can hear some of the colourful language out on the field as these two teams get to know each other, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Lowe's mentioned this before the game about how passionate these derby games are and how much it means to all these players to compete against your local rivals. It's always nice to see open sides smiling against each other as well.
Hearing from Terry Walker on via Twitter using hashtag #ChampRugby, watching from New Jersey, USA. It's an international audience for our live stream. Let us know where you're watching and tuning in, who you're supporting here, whether you're a Yorkshire exile somewhere else in the world for this derby match.
There's not many of those, Nick. They tend to all stay here.
Yorkshire Passport Office queue is often quite short, isn't it? Irvine is making sure he gets the mark from the referee, because this could be a good chance for Yorkshire Carnegie. They kick it into the corner. It's time for them to back their forwards. Mark Thomas runs into position. Joe Buckle ready with the line out. Who's it going to be? Wetton's in there. Smith a little further to the back. Smith then jumps to the middle. He's the dummy. And it comes down, but oh, it's not straight. Basics.
Now I'm going to be a standard back here, Nick, and cite the fact that that was far too overcomplicated. Matt Smith could have gone up. No one was competing against him as he jumped. That was such an easy option rather than the dummy lift and then trying to re-go for it.
But all of it meant nothing because Buckle didn't throw it in straight. I mean, you know, these are the situations where accuracy is absolutely key. They talk at the very highest level internationally about getting the one job right and then on to your next job. And given how infrequently Yorkshire Carnegie have been in the Doncaster 22, that is a chance gone begging. Heaney. It's a penalty. Doncaster Knights will have more time to make this clearance as Yorkshire Carnegie come up at the scrum before the ball was out.
And once again there, you can see how much it means to this Doncaster team. Only 6-0 on the scoreboard, but Carnegie get the push over there, look to convert, they're back in it. To lose a line-out's one thing, to concede the penalty, that is known as a coach killer.
It's the voice of Rob Vickerman here on our live streaming coverage of the Greene King IPA Championship. 6 points to 0. Doncaster Knights have the lead through 2 Simon Humberston penalties in this first half. Around half an hour played. Line out goes to the back. Doncaster get hold of it. Yorkshire trying to put the pressure on, but Doncaster have mauled that round the back and round the corner and still have it. Now they've broken away. Oh, and Yorkshire have ripped it away. It's a little bit untidy now. Bainbridge just looks after things on the floor. Greene goes in. Greene again. Mayhew. You can see that Elliot Miller-Mills is onto the field for his debut. Matt Smith again. Greene. It's a little bit high for Irvine, so he fires it out the back. Now are they going to kick it into the corner? They do through Pete Lucock, but there's an advantage being played. And we're going to be bringing play back. Richard Mayhew is on the floor, taking a breather.
Oh, what a steal from Mayhew. That's where it all started. A massive maul in the midfield. The gnarled Kiwi back rower rips it out, gets it going.
We've got a yellow card here. Sorry to interrupt you there, Rob. Time back on. A bit of a use of the elbow is the signal from Carl Dixon, and Doncaster Knights will be down to 14 for the next 10 minutes. Alex Shaw will have a, Matt Challoner will have a breather.
Yeah, Matt Challoner, he used to be at the old Leeds Tax Academy, so know him well. He's one of these players you would always pray and hope was on your team, because if he was opposed to you, he was one of the toughest specimens that I've ever played against, certainly. One of those people that would, although not figuratively, jump on your grandma's head.
What a splendid phrase. Callum Irvine. First chance to put Yorkshire on the board. That one might just be drifting wide. Everyone has another look at it, but he's not going to get another chance. So Doncaster Knights maintain their 6-0 lead.
Interesting decision there. You've just lost Challoner. He's one of the main jumpers. Good a kick to the corner. Carnegie's default was always their driving lineup, but clearly not that confident in it today.
Drop out from Humberston from the 22. Go down that far channel, and then it's played back in field. And Steadman just ships it on now. Elder, well, he's wrong-footed himself to the floor. Greene away through Irvine. Then the little flatter pass, trying to send Smith through the gap. They get slightly quicker ball that time. Buckle with the carry. Wetton just over the 10-metre line, middle of the park. Options left and right. More of the Yorkshire Carnegie backline. Shape to the left, and it's Irvine. Half looks at the gap himself, and then he gets through. That's brilliant from Irvine. Just continued to ask the question. Greene, ball pops out. It's Elder. He's gone for the chip through there, Chris Elder. Might have been better keeping that one in hand.
Absolutely, but Ben Hunter take a bow. Premiership clubs around the country looking at him as a football keeper, I'm sure. He was down so quickly for a big man, but great break, wasn't it, Irvine? Asking questions, standing so flat, taking people on, great handoff, gets himself through the gap. Just a little bit of footwork, wins the collision. This is the platform you want. I agree, I think there was a little bit an early decision to kick it, and it was so obvious that Hunter managed to duck down to block it.
Delighted to hear from Hannah Watkins, who's watching Carnegie against Doncaster from Bristol, with 9-week-old Teddy watching Uncle George playing for Carnegie. Well, lovely to hear from you, Hannah. Hope you're enjoying a Sunday afternoon. Hashtag Champ Rugby. If you'd like to get in the Sunday Love Songs dedications this afternoon from Headingley. Richard List is just down currently. There we are, coming back into the action.
He very rarely looks anything other than very tired when he plays Richard List, but he is an absolute warrior.
Ball into the line. Joe Buckle more accurate with the throw that time than their last visit to the 22. Just outside it currently, Max Greene is communicating as any good scrum half will to the referee. Carl Dixon will be used to that. Roll reversal. And the volume goes up a bit as Carnegie get a bit of go forward, pulling out some of the Doncaster big men in the shape of Michael Hills that time. Now Greene breaks, tries to put a bit of pace on it. Oh, it's a nice angle being cut back by Lucotte. Made a few yards punching into that 22. Greene now looks to the left and right. It's not the quickest service from Greene. They need to try and get quick ball here. If they could go quickly, they've got 4 against 3. Now they try and go a bit wider. Irvine's gone for the crossfield kick. It might just work. George Watkins taking it. Good hands from him. Little shorter play. Bainbridge comes out again. It was a high take for Smith. Gets support. Doncaster Knights now being really questioned defensively. Greene again. Irvine. Oh, it's just been dropped. But we're coming back for a penalty. Richard Mayhew just losing the momentum by nudging it forwards, but we had a penalty advantage being played as Mayhew just stays on the ground for a moment. That was better from Carnegie.
Absolutely playing frontline run, as you see there. Mayhew not able to take the ball with his hands down, but the first break we saw from Lucotte, exactly the same thing from Irvine, who hits him on the flat line. If you're running that hard and tight back at the ball, it's always a tough tackle to make, and you can see with the line breaks coming, asking questions of the Knights there.
Just got a momentary pause then while Mayhew gets back to his feet. Humberston with the 2 penalties. Irvine with the miss of one of them, but from this position he fancies a chance.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit more obvious for the post here, but Max Greene, you can see there, still pointing at the corner, thinking, is there a chance? Their last driving line that they had looked really secure, really strong. Carnegie could be trying to get the points from the try.
Worrying moments here for Yorkshire Carnegie. Mayhew has stayed down on the floor a little longer there. I think he's struggling, and I think his work for the afternoon may be done. That's certainly not a good sign.
He's one of these tough players. You physically have to pull him off the pitch to get them to come off. Look at him, he's just serious pain there. One of his 4 brothers, the Mayhews, pretty genetically blessed people. All rugby players, amazingly, as well.
Well, the changes being made. Richard Beck coming onto the field. Mayhew struggling even to walk at the moment. He's managed to get out behind Irvine, though, who can now just concentrate on the job in hand, which is to try and get the first 3 points on the board for the home side. No problem for Irvine. And Yorkshire Carnegie do have 3 points on the board. It's Yorkshire Carnegie 3, Doncaster Knights 6.
Successful penalty kick.
Looking forward to seeing Richard Beck go. One of these Carnegie players who rarely has been around quite a while. A lot of the others haven't been as long as Richard Beck, but he's one of these players that likes the offload, spends a lot of time working on it, hopefully to the benefit of this game, and get some flowing rugby once more.
Restart up to the 22. Yorkshire gather it in. Given the physicality of Doncaster Knights so far and the well, less frequent trips to the 22 they've been from Yorkshire, to just be trailing by 3 points at this point won't be disappointing them too much. Elder wanted to ask a question of Charlie Foley's positioning at the back there. Foley hoists it high. He's not got too much go forward on that. That's an easier one to take, and Richard Beck will do so. And the net gain for Yorkshire out of those 2 kicking exchanges is about 15 metres or so. Wetton with the carry. Greene looks to the right. Buckle. Smith. Little show. Gets it over the top. And it's Beck again. Back rower. Opening up the legs. Getting a bit of pace past the 10-metre line. Buckle again. Then shorter for Smith. Need to make the clearance. Greene, Irvine. Using the big form of Ollie Steadman, former London Welshman, of course. Irvine just getting himself caught a little bit down that channel. Now they have to come out to the right again. Steadman just works out which way he's got to go. Former Doncaster Knight as well, Steadman. A more appropriate statistic ahead of this one. But just a bit of inaccuracy for all the bluff and bluster, and it'll be possession back to the visitors.
You can see here, unfortunate there, lying on the wrong side, Ben Hunter, but got away with it. Max Greene, wry smile. Knows how frustrating it can be with bodies lying around breakdowns. A shrug of the shoulders from the referee. It's going to happen.
Just a reminder, our match clock is as good an estimation as we have. We're looking at the stadium clock. It's showing about 42 minutes gone, but it is a stop-start clock. So imagine just about 2 minutes to go until the end. Andy Lewis is watching the Carnegie Donny match from the comforts of the Sun Lounger in Lanzarote. Well, now, very nice for you, Andy. Make mine a pina colada. Couple of minutes to go. First half. Yorkshire Carnegie 3, Doncaster Knights 6. Ball is in. Heaney. Well, there is a mass of bodies there. Referee's happy enough for the ball to just get away. Foley. Little hot shoe shuffle. Grabs an extra couple of metres on the floor. Yorkshire have got to get themselves back on side. They might just have done it in time. Doncaster could have some numbers here if they were to put it through the hands. It was just a 2-on-1 down the short side as Lucock and Davis were left to do the marking, but they've had a word with the referee. They know how long was left, and Heaney says we will take half-time. Doncaster Knights with the 2 penalties from Simon Humberston, and Yorkshire Carnegie then managing to get one back through Callum Irvine, a late starter in the game in the end. We have a half-time score of Yorkshire Carnegie 3, Doncaster Knights 6, and we'll hopefully be hearing from Sir Ian McGeechan alongside Rob Vickerman very, very shortly.
were perhaps not the scoreline you'd have thought you'd have got from this game, as the outset was tipped to see attacking rugby, flowing flair and plenty of endeavour. However, we've got a special guest with us now, Sir Ian McGeechan, Executive President of Yorkshire Carnegie. First and foremost, Sir Ian, we saw you throughout the whole Lions series this summer. Are you well?
I'm very well, yes, thank you.
Excellent to hear.
Not fit enough to play, but otherwise fine.
He has got his boots on, I must let you know this. But not the most entertaining first half, it's fair to say. What are your thoughts on how it went for Yorkshire Carnegie?
Yeah, I think the rain coming down, I think slowed the game down a bit, which has made it a little bit easier for defences. Both have defended well. Really, I'd just like to see the tempo of the game move up a bit and see a few more line breaks. Yeah, and there's some attacking players who mentioned about how enjoyable they are when they're full flowing. What I'd like to talk about is about the progression, how Yorkshire Carnegie is still saying that they want to be the flagship team in Yorkshire and really put a marker down. How are things looking behind the scenes? Yeah, very good. I've spent majority of my time now with the academy and making sure the Yorkshire Academy, which is what we have with the RFU and PRL, is actually running and developing strongly. So over the last 3 years we've made fantastic inroads really into numbers, coaches and quality. I think we were the most represented club at the Under-20 World Championship in 2016 with the England representation. So we're very pleased where we are now with 70 coaches involved in the 5 satellite regions around the county. And that's, I suppose, as an ex-schoolmaster is where I like to see the involvement and the development, and I think if we can continue that, then I would love to see a Yorkshire Premiership team with 2/3 or more homegrown players, because there's talent here without a doubt, and it is a very strong rugby region. And I remember being sat in the room as you were talking about the vision, using New Zealand as a model, and they've certainly not done too badly themselves, looking at how they went specifically yesterday. But lots of quality players on show here. Yorkshire's a thriving rugby county, and long may it continue. Also with that, the international standards of the crowd and atmosphere structure is going to be changing. The stadium's going to go through some serious repair. Yeah, this is going to be rebuilt altogether, £35 million project, so it's going to be an international class stadium for 3 sports, rugby union, cricket and rugby league. So it'll be a fantastic place when it's finished in under 2 years. And that again is important for a really strong sporting bed for the county and for supporters. So yeah, we're all looking forward to that and getting Premiership rugby here so we can benefit from it. And what we'd like to see in the second half? A higher tempo game, fewer errors, I suppose, but they'll always occur. Particularly, when the rain came just at the wrong time, I think just made that ball a bit more difficult to handle. But just get some runners in the spaces a bit earlier, get the offloads going, and get some of that support rugby, which we enjoy watching. Exactly that. Well, make sure you stay in good health, sir. It's lovely to speak to you as ever. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Well, there might be a few highlights to see from both the first half of this game and also of the Championship Round 2 last week. Enjoy these coming up. Plenty more rugby in action coming your way after it as we digest a little bit of what's happened that first half.
So half-time here at Headingley, and it is Yorkshire Carnegie 3, Doncaster Knights 6. Great to catch up with Sir Ian McGeechan, with Rob Bickerman down at pitch side, who will make his way up to join us in just a moment. 2 first half penalties from Simon Humberston then, and then it was Callum Irvine just getting a chance to find out that Irvine was a starter due to Alex Davis pulling up in the warm-up, and Louis Brown will take his place on the bench. Interesting to see if we have any changes at the half-time. We can just remind you, of course, of the other results that have taken place over the weekend so far. Ealing Trailfinders running out 45-25 winners over Bedford Blues. Nottingham, they were winners against London Scottish at the Athletic Ground by 33 points to 31. Rotherham Titans, well, they got some points on the board this week, which they couldn't manage last week in that 44-0 drubbing, but they still lost out to Hartpury College, 21 points to 32. And Jersey Reds 19, Cornish Pirates 13. Bristol Rugby playing Richmond currently, and Yorkshire Carnegie are against Doncaster Knights here at Headingley. We'll just have a look at a few of the moments of the first half. It's been a physical old encounter, and we've been enjoying seeing former Harlequin scrum half Carl Dixon now with the referee's whistle in his hand as well, getting stuck into the thick of things. And Rob Vickerman, well, ahead of this game, you suggested that Doncaster Knights might be the heavier outfit and might be able to push their way past. Have you seen anything in that first half to change that view?
I really like how Doncaster play on the fly. Their structures are very simple. You can see with these clips they play a bit of a pod system without going too much into it. They're very good at bringing their big men into the game and getting that momentum on the back of it, because they have some serious firepower out wide, of which this is not them, I must say. This is not anything to do with Doncaster. But what they've got is a lot of belief in their team. They've got the same team that played last week with a resounding victory, so they've got the confidence, and that means for a lot. The thing I probably question is a little bit about that fitness, and that's what I really hope to see in the second half when it does break up a little bit, gets a little bit more free-flowing. We get to see a few more line breaks, as Sir Ian McGeechan was mentioning. Everybody wants to see that brand of rugby that's typified by these two teams that we just really haven't seen in that first half.
Of course, Harry Davis, one of those players that's been into the lineup today on loan from Bath Rugby, and you do see a fair amount of dual registration between clubs in the Championship and, of course, the Premiership, and well, those bonds between Yorkshire Carnegie and Bath Rugby seem to be strengthening.
And this is the hot topic, Nick. This is what I'd like to get a bit of debate in the old hashtag Champ Rugby, because it's pivotal this year, looking at this league, how the influence of Premiership players can really change the season. Now, if you are a Bedford Blues, for example, and you get the loaning of 5 or 6, or potentially up to 8 Bedford Saracens players, that will comprehensively change your team. On the flip side of it, you've then got to manage a player that perhaps doesn't play, who's trained all year because this one-star player drops down. But it's undoubtedly a bit of a contentious issue in how it's going to come about, and I'm really intrigued to see Nigel Melville's thoughts about it, and specifically him talking about developing young English players. But it's one of these things that needs to be debated to see how it can really benefit teams individually.
Well, Nigel Melville, who's had plenty of questions to answer since he took over his head of professional rugby job, whether it's the new Tyrrell's Premier 15s that of course you'll be able to see broadcast and streamed live on englandrugby.com as a continued part of the great package of games that we'll be streaming from England Rugby and on the Facebook page over the course of the season. And as Rob Vickerman says, plenty of questions over this Championship and the use of those Premiership players in these sides. Players need the development opportunities, whether that's in A-League or in the Championship. The rain is teeming down once again. It's going to be another little test for the players at the start of this second half. But we hope you're nice and cosy wherever you're watching. We've got fans watching from all around the world, including Atlanta, Georgia, Thailand, Michigan, Argentina, Winnipeg, Canada, Alberta, Canada, New Jersey, Houston, Texas, Italy, Valencia, wherever you're watching. It's great to have your company. Ken Carpenter, great to be able to watch from Canada. Thank you for getting in touch with us, Ken. Hashtag Champ Rugby, as we see both of the sides make their way back out onto the field. Yorkshire Carnegie, of course, who were in the playoffs alongside Doncaster to try and come up last season through that playoff system. And there's Terry.
There's a bit of debate around the county as to what exactly Terry is. Started off a bit of a terrier, a bit of a tyke, something fox, something big, strange, animal.
He's a bit beary as well, isn't he? Maybe he's just a mongrel.
Well, plenty of pride on show, so the prerequisite, isn't it, of Yorkshire people saying they're proud that these next 40 minutes really are going to see who takes that pride home with them.
Well, certainly. Yorkshire Carnegie will be getting us restarted, going from left to right. Callum Irvine, the man on the ball. Called in to start at late notice with Alex Davis pulling up in the warm-up, as we said. So, 3 points between the sides, and Carnegie will kick off, taken in by Buller McCount over on the far side as the rain just abates slightly from the torrential downpour. It's now just a good bit of old-fashioned English drizzle. And Doncaster Knights with Quigley just in there providing the platform, the big number 3. Scottish-born, former Rotherham. And Heaney has not opted to try and find touch that time, and the ball's bounced up nicely for Elder. He's slipped again. He's got the right footwear on. Steadman. Max Greene has to go digging for it, and it's their little ball back inside. Pete Lucock, who's growing into the game a little bit in that inside centre position for Yorkshire Carnegie. But there was a bit of a clear out off the ball, I think, certainly enough for referee Dixon to spot and say Richard Beck needs to tidy his act up. It'll be a penalty to Doncaster Knights.
A little bit unfortunate there. I think if any forward around the world's watching this, you see a breakdown, you see someone stood near it, it's in your rights to try and take them out to clear it. It's irrelevant if you make that a tackle or if you make that a hit, it's still part of the clear out. So I think absolutely right there for Richard Beck to be walking back, slightly tilting the head somewhat.
It's a forward's domain. Penalty takes Doncaster Knights down to the 22. This an early chance in the second half for them to assert some authority and add some points to the board. Can they get a rumble on with the grey skies overhead? They go to the front of the line. The man who won the ball is tackled cleanly, but he'd already transferred it. Yorkshire with players on the floor. They're effectively bringing that down. Josh Bainbridge, number 6. The man who did so. Clear signal that it was sacked. Bainbridge, the man pinged by the referee, and it's a penalty to Doncaster Knights. Will they opt for a couple more points on a tricky old day in the rain, or will they opt for the corner?
A little bit fortunate in that situation there. I'm pretty sure I saw a little bit of a cheeky forearm for Matt China go on the face of Josh Bainbridge, so got to be careful. Already got a yellow card. You don't need that type of indiscipline in that situation. Let the points do the talking.
Well, it will be a chance for 3 from 3 for Humberston. Nicely struck. 3 out of 3 for the Doncaster Knights fly half, and reasserts that 6-point lead. Yorkshire Carnegie 3, Doncaster Knights 9.
Big point about the penalties, Nick. They were already identified in the Carnegie squad that in the 2 features last year there were 50 penalties. That is a staggering number of penalties. Discipline all important in this game.
Heaney. Long downfield. He is having an excellent day kicking from hand in terms of those touchlines, isn't he?
You don't get many Irish come-offs that probably aren't well versed in playing in the wet and the rain, but he really is probing with these superb kicks that are going 50-60 metres at a time, almost pinpoint accuracy from Heaney there. Very impressive.
It's at the back to Beck. Little low one from Greene. It was well taken by Irvine. Not the easiest to take. Greene again. Looks for Buckle. Joe Buckle joined from Jersey this year. along with George Watkins, former Bath and Pirates man. Now Irvine hoists the high one, wants to try and test Foley in the slippery conditions. Buller Macau comes to join in. Well, they've had it wrestled away from them, and Beck will play scrum half and feed it away through Wetton. Buckle again with the show and straighten. Someone needed to. Greene feeds away again. Steadman. Good tackle from Quigley. Two big men colliding. Wetton again. Greene. Irvine goes out the back. Running onto it is Mark Thomas, receiving from Forsyth. Putting a bit more depth on it that time. Then Miller Mills. Be delighted to be making his debut. Irvine, now the little show into Quigley. He fancied his chances of getting through Quigley and List there, but when those doors shut, they shut pretty hard. Greene, oh, he fancies the short side. They create the extra room for Davis. They've got him held up though. They might try and put him into touch if they can. Davis is working hard to try and get that ball over the top. It's a real arm wrestle there. And now the flag does go up.
Wonderful defence there, Doncaster. Rallying the troops, getting all the men round, managed to hold them up and then drive them out into touch. Really resolute defence there. But good to see little touches coming in. Richard Beck getting the ball wide. Such a hard position to be in here. Max Davis, albeit very sizable winger, you're not going to be able to out-wrestle 4 Doncaster Knights all around you.
Now we've had a key question answered via social media here, Rob. Zandra Yapol tells us that Terry is a dog. He's always been a dog. Is that news to you?
Yeah, I think I probably would be a little bit of a news story there somewhere. I mean,
okay, good.
I like the idea of it being a tyke. I'm not quite sure if it looks like one. Better than the last one, which used to be the Carnegie Challenger, I must say, which was...
That's been mentioned. Remember the Carnegie Challenger, though. That's the, yeah.
Yeah. There was questions often asked about the location of Tom Biggs at the same time as the Carnegie Challenger.
Line out for Doncaster. Oh, it's been stolen by Carnegie. And this could be a crucial moment. Buckle going straight through, stopped 2 metres short. Can Carnegie get a decent recycle? They go to the corner. They haven't managed to get in. They thought they'd spotted an opportunity. Doncaster Knights defending with all their might. Greene. What are the options? Forwards go again. Referee's got to see that ball go down. Got to get the Doncaster Knights players out of the way, and there's now a penalty advantage coming. So a shot to nothing as Mark Thomas continues to dig. Now it squirts out the back. Greene on for Davis. It's messy, and they'll come back for the penalty as Doncaster were doing everything to try and stop them getting into that corner.
It was messy and very, very fortunate there. Number 3, you can see in the screen, Colin Quigley, he was all over the wrong side of the ruck there. Very lucky to still be on the pitch for an indiscretion that close to the try line.
One yellow card in the game so far to Doncaster's Matt Challoner. Carnegie now with the line out. Previous position in the first half. Down the other end was ruined by an inaccurate throw. Referee's happier with that one. Steadman had it. Now it's there with Buckle. He's an abrasive player, Buckle. Decent in the loose. He's carried a fair few times so far. Thomas now. Grabs another metre or two. Presents it. Doncaster not overly committing there. Miller Mills has coughed it up. There's plenty of pressure here from Carnegie. Doncaster make the clearance. Referee says advantage over. Chris Elder looks to take the quick one, but, well, there was nobody there really from Yorkshire Carnegie. They'll keep possession, but they're back a full 25 metres from where they were.
Yeah, moral victory to the Knights there for sure. Really good defence on the goal line. One error coming through here. You mentioned trying to take it to the line. If you're not ready with the ball in hand there, very difficult to absorb the defence. And fair play, still thinking they can have a bit of an attack from their own in goal line.
Ball down for Greene. Safe line out from Carnegie. 10-metre line. Nice bit of work to find Watkins onto Beck. George Watkins, the player who's joined this season from Jersey. Former Colston schoolman. Few players down after that. Michael Hills has taken a fair old hit for Doncaster as Yorkshire Carnegie look to try and strike up to the 22. Greene gets there, gets the ball popped up for him. Then Matt Smith will carry it on. Wetton. Not over the gain line yet. Greene again. Irvine trying to find a way through this Doncaster line. It's Pete Lucock again, Leeds-born man. Irvine again, looking to try and find one of those props as a mismatch around the corner of that ruck. Hasn't quite found a way through yet. Buckle, is he going to? No, it's ripped from him in the tackle. And Foley, well, he's tried to make a clearance. He had plenty of room downfield in open territory that he might have run into as Rob Bickerman gestures towards me.
Well, if that ball had stayed in field then, there was no one anywhere near him. Knowing Foley's pace, he'd have walked in, albeit from a long way out. But Michael Hill showed his pedigree there, scratching around the ball like any good seven is a nose, just trying to make sure the ball comes out. Foley gets it, clears it, shanks it on the left-hand side. If that did stay in, very interesting foot race. The thing you mentioned, Nick, is exactly right. You can see Carnegie play into a system where all they are trying to do is get a mismatch with numbers 1 and 3. If Quigley and List are anywhere near together in the defensive line, you will find the play will be trying to play on them. It's the touch play, really. You saw it a mile off.
Callum Irvine. He spotted one a few minutes ago, but as I mentioned, when those two bouncers on the door come together, well, you're not coming in. It's whether he can find them with just more than a metre between them. But now it's a penalty to Doncaster Knights. And that is reward for the forwards' effort. Defensively, they've stood up over the last couple of minutes, and now they'll get a chance to hand the ball to Heaney or to Humberston, who now is on it to clear those lines.
It's a serious shift from these Doncaster players. I never mentioned about them being an unchanged team, but that stress on the body of these big men you're seeing doing this week in, week out, it really is formidable. Most other teams, Bristol for example in the Championship, currently have 14 players injured. Their whole front line almost out, yet they're still seeing this Doncaster team battling week after week.
Hashtag Champ Rugby if you'd like to get involved in the debate. Your views on either of these sides, who you think is going to come out on top. Just 6 points between them so far here at Headingley. Hunter with the line in. Oh, it's not straight, says the referee. Yorkshire Carnegie getting plenty of chances to build attacks here. Let's have another little look at that line. Oh, that's very close from Carl Dixon to call that as not straight.
Certainly been a theme of the day, though, hasn't it? There'll be some very unhappy forwards chokes, who are normally unhappy people anyway, but specifically with the amount of miscued lineouts.
Changes just being made. Buckle has left the field. So, to the introduction of Mike Mayhew now. And at scrum time as well. Will Homer, younger brother of Tom, of course. On dual registration with Bath. Captain their Sing Sevens team in the Premiership Sevens just before the start of the season. Irvine takes it into the corner.
I do enjoy it when a 10 stands there. Could quite easily kick it normally, but goes for the old Carlos Spencer banana kick just because he can. Looking forward to seeing Homer go. Saw him in the Sing Sevens. Very effervescent type of 9, as many are, but he's got some serious wheels and good footwork.
Well, can he take advantage around the fringes as much as they're have been trying to do so with Irvine so far? Could be an area where Yorkshire try and get some change out of Doncaster Knights.
And once again, it's that man, Matt Challoner. He's like one of the monsters in Space Jam. Such a horrible creature, but once again, a penalty in a pivotal position, edging them forwards. The referee has a conversation with Michael Hills for that exact reason.
He'll be thanking you for that comment later.
He won't be on Facebook.
It's So Mayhew, big line out now, needs to get this one right, just his second of the game. Keeps it simple, straight to the front. Forwards effort, get round. Homer's there, ready to take the service away to the back line, should he need to. Now it goes to ground, but a few of them keep going towards the line, and the ball's down. Try given. First try of the game, and it goes to the home side. It's not going to be an easy conversion position. Let's have another look at the replay.
Yeah, gave them front ball, as many teams do now. If you've got it, you need to make sure you secure the platform well. Look how quickly the Carnegie forwards were surrounding that ball, get it to the back, and I think that could well be Steadman dots it down there, the big frame against his old team. He's pretty pumped about it too.
Yes, Ollie Steadman confirmed as the scorer. And here's just the reverse angle.
Oh, what a great shot this. You can see here the Knights defence going all to left hand side, swing around. Once you've got momentum, you peel around. The 9 can see everything from the back. He directs his forwards to splinter left. All too easy in the end for that big man right there.
Will Homer then will take on the kicking duty. Can he give Yorkshire Carnegie the lead for the first time in this game? Just going to drift left. So a 1 point game. The visitors still with their noses in front.
Not quite able to kick like his brother there. Homer's pivotal opportunity there. Combine that with Irvin's missed penalty from the first half. They can be quite crucial, these kicks.
Yorkshire Carnegie 8, Doncaster Knights 9. As we slowly approach the hour mark, Harry Davis takes that one in on the far touchline. Homer whips it away. Not tackled, so Mike Myerscough will still go on. Ball booted downfield. Each of these teams potentially now wanting to force the other into the error. Charlie Foley skips that one into touch nicely. That'll do.
Well, not the best drop there from Foley, but he got away with it, bouncing just centimetres, it seemed, from the touchline. Lucock, exactly the right tactic to kick to the corner, just a little bit too high, which gave Foley that time to execute his low driving kick.
Another of the Mayhews passed his fitness test to replace Ross Graham, former Falcons and London Irish man. He came off the bench against London Scottish, and he's here now to make his first home appearance of the season. And he's overthrown the line out after all that build-up. Heaney's fed it away quickly. Now Humberston's trying to really expose Davis as the last defender. Chris Elder was there across the cover. Now Heaney nearly looked to go open, but now he's fed it back to the short side where Michael Hills, the skipper, was heading. Carpenter. Away again, Humberston looking out the back. Owen, now Buller McCow. Can they make it work? They fire it away. Foley with the little twist, but a forward pass on its way. Heartbreak for Doncaster, as that was looking threatening.
It was indeed. The threat that this Doncaster team do possess when they're in multi-phase attack is great. Buller McCow shifts it off. Shaw definitely was forward there, but you can see the intent of exploiting that 5 metre channel. So rarely teams play that wide. They try and make 15 the last point so they can go back open, but that's wonderful play from the Knights, and just one little tiny pass away from being pretty special.
Your friend Matt Challoner is now making way as the club's first signing ahead of this campaign. Morgan Eames goes on, former Nottingham man. And we've also got a change in the front row. David Nelson on for Ben Hunter. Joined last August on dual registration from Newcastle Falcons, as Hunter completes his work for the day. So a bit of fresh meat in the scrum to provide a bit more entertainment Homer gets that ball in. It's a solid defensive scrum from Carnegie, and they get the penalty for it. Well, Doncaster Knights have had a fair amount of weight into that scrum to the game so far.
Yeah, absolutely right. Carnegie scrum staying absolutely square, driving forward there. Correct decision for Carl Dixon.
Will this the period of the game remind us of the strategy you were mentioning earlier that Carnegie are looking for?
Out and out, tiring the front five to try and get opportunity to play with width shape to pick out numbers 1 and 3. They're still on the pitch, Liston Quigley. There is opportunity, but these scrums are coming more and more into the game, which will suit them undoubtedly.
Well, interesting seeing how strong that Carnegie scrum was in their own 22. Is this the start of the tide turning in terms of what the Knights have left in the tank? It's down for Homer. Irvine through Steadman. Coming crashing through the middle is Forsyth off Lucock. Homer again, Elder picks a nice line. He's a tall chap to bring down. Chris Elder, solid runner. Brace of tries at Castle Park when they met in March. Homer again, Irvine awaits it. Shorter ball for Lucock, then out again for Forsyth. Wanted the out the back. It's found Elder through conventional or unconventional means. 11 metres out. Homer, short ball back in for Myerscote. Homer, thought about serving quickly right. Now he needs the man to stay on the outside. This is going to be a try. It's Jack Wetton. It was made by Homer, spotting the chance to cut back on the short side and isolate the last defender.
Well, what a brilliant finish there. Wetton, a big man, enjoying the celebrations. Structure to get them to here, and out off structure from that man Homer. There's the first carry. Myerscote doing as he always does, taking it forward. A little bit of a pivot, which way? Turning like a weather vane, goes back right and finds the big man Wetton out wide. You're not stopping him dropping his shoulder, that's for sure. What a great score, timely for Carnegie.
Well, Yorkshire Carnegie into the lead for the first time then, with the conversion to come. It's from the same position where Homer came on and had the effort after Steadman's try down in this right-hand corner. 4 points the gap here, and Wetton was not going to be stopped by Tyson Lewis.
There's no lack of effort there from Tyson Lewis, you've got to say, for a winger to fly in at a second rower who's round about 5 stone heavier than him. That's commitment.
Certainly was. So, Homer the younger to try and add 2 points. Well, let's call the first one a sighter, because he slotted the second no problem. Takes it to more than a try. A converted try would put Doncaster Knights back in front, but as it stands, it's Yorkshire Carnegie 15, Doncaster Knights 9. And into this last quarter, this game is just beginning to simmer quite nicely, Rob Vickerman.
It is, it's all about building the phases. Execution of skill set, no errors, which originally was stopping this game quite a lot in the first half. But when the continuity is there, it really is a case of being able to implement your individual skill set. Homer there, out and out, spotted it, went blind, and the big man Wetton out wide did the rest.
So the former Heriots man, Jason Hill, the man mountain is on for Doncaster Knights. Colin Quigley takes his place on the replacements bench. Amongst the other changes, also on Joe Sproston, the Knights prop. Steadman just holds his position for a moment. Try and get Michael Hills out of the way. Homer fires it back to Irvine, who goes down the middle of the park. Foley takes it in. He's got Humberston to his left and the big man Hill to his right, but Foley goes for a little chip through into no man's land. It'll test Irvine as it skips along the floor, and Irvine's done well to get away from the first defence. Then he needed Steadman just on his shoulder to tidy it up. Homer looked over the top of the ruck to see if the kick was on. You could see Humberston well positioned, Lewis as well at the back. I think Steadman's taken a bit of a knot there. He's just down, just out of your picture. Irvine goes long, and Lewis is encouraged to take off by Humberston. And here he goes, needs to look outside, but Lewis still going up to the halfway line. No one daring bring him down, but he's ended up coughing it up on the floor through the tackle, and now Lucock will set the platform. There's a penalty advantage coming. Homer again meerkatting over the top of that ruck to see what was on. Looks to the left and right again. Where are the options for him? There's only Foley in the middle of the park at the back, and so Irvine thinks that he might try and plump for that far corner. The moisture just holding the ball on the ground a little longer, and Foley, he's kept that one in field. Down for Homer. It's open rugby here in the rain at Headingley. Elder given the chance to chase that. It's got plenty of height on it. Buller McCow brings it down. It's a wane out from Heaney. Little dance from Sproston. Side back for Humberston. Gives it a bit of height. Elder will have to come forward, but Homer challenges. Really good challenge from two men in the air there. Hills and Homer. Homer ends up bringing it down. Lucock came through the system from mini rugby at Chandos Park, did Pete Lucock. He is Carnegie through and through, the Leeds-born man. Key part of the side since his senior debut in 2011. Humberston comes running onto that, but the offside is such that that wasn't advantage enough for Yorkshire Carnegie, so Carl Dixon will bring them back. And this is right in front of the post, and they don't waste any time in suggesting that Homer can try and add another 3 points that would take it beyond a converted try.
And what a clip we see there. Andy Forsyth doesn't need to be the big shot to turn the ball over. Rip City as he pulls it out of Tyson Lewis's grasp. Dixon now awarding the penalty. This is still a sizable kick, and we've just seen Homer's efforts previously. Strikes the ball nicely, but this is some 45 metres and what's already a big pitch. So, fair play. He's stepped up. First little bit of open rugby we saw there, brought in from the high kicks, the competing broken field. That's what we want to see, and as a result, a little bit of destruction of the defence, and pressure comes to give away the penalty.
Will Homer then to add another 3. Drilled it low and wide. Didn't quite get connection underneath that. So we shall move swiftly on. Incidentally, score coming in from Bristol. It's Bristol 50, Richmond 5. So a fair old thumping for Richmond, and another solid victory for Bristol in the Greene King IPA Championship. Campaign on course so far in the West Country. Chris Elder hoists it up, chases his own kick. This will be a good contest. Oh, he couldn't quite get a hand to it. Now it's been knocked on. Was there a knock on both ways? Well, plenty of screaming from the stands. Decisions for referee Dixon to make. He gets the call on the near side that Elder didn't get a hand to it. And so Yorkshire Carnegie will have the scrum.
Great platform to attack from here. First and foremost, they've got to get the scrum sorted and see the ending result here. As the ball's cleared, Homer splits the field here. Elder on the right-hand side. I like the look of the old 8-9-15. See if that could work.
Yeah, we've got the Canada Geese formation. And as Rob Vickerman says, Elder to the right. Watkins down on the near side on the wing.
And the flip side is, on the left-hand side of the scrum, it's a 4-on-3. So execute either way correctly here, and plenty of opportunity. Very difficult for any midfield defender in this situation.
Homer. Oh, now then. Did he touch that at the back of the scrum? It ended up going back in under Steadman's feet. But we play on. Carnegie up to the 22. Presented back by Lucotte. Then Bainbridge. Homer. Mayhew. There's nobody out here to the right for Yorkshire Carnegie. They're going to have to go back the other way. Homer recognises that. And then Irvine. Oh, it's just a little scrappy. Well, it's scrappy from both sides. First knock on from Yorkshire. And actually Yorkshire now are just beginning to show signs of fatigue. Not quite hitting those lines or taking those carries in with as much pizzazz as we saw perhaps 5-10 minutes ago.
Exactly, and frustration as well, Nick. You know, these backs had a platform there. It was a split scrum. All you want is opportunity, and the ball stays in the base of the scrum a little bit too long. People laughing all around the world watching that one, thinking, yeah, I've been there before. You get the perfect backs move planned and don't get it out. But yeah, those types of frustrations can really show, because you only get 2 or 3 opportunities in the second half, and you've got to try and make them count. So if it doesn't come, you force it a little bit, and that's where your destructure happens and errors come in.
The voice of Rob Vickerman. We hope you're enjoying our coverage here of the Greene King IPA Championship. Yorkshire Carnegie 15, Doncaster Knights 9 in round 3. Doncaster coming into this one 2 from 2. Yorkshire with a win and a loss, losing to London Scottish on the opening round, then winning against Nottingham 27 points to 35 last week in round 2. Doncaster, who were looking for their first win against Leeds. Yorkshire Carnegie, as they are now known, of course, since 2014. The Knights, they announced the signing of Curtis Wilson this week from Ealing Trailfinders, who are currently top of the table, covering injuries to the likes of Paul Jarvis and Dougie Flockhart. Curtis, who started his professional career with Yorkshire Carnegie, as we see Colin Quigley watching on. Scrum comes together. Tom James, the replacement scrum half for Doncaster, onto the field now. Signed from Bedford Blues, the 23-year-old. And now Buller Macau gets going. We've not seen too much of the brothers. Certainly not with much space in front of them so far in this game. Will it break up and give them an opportunity inside this last 7 or 8 minutes? Can Doncaster get themselves back on top as they put it through the hands on the far side? It's decent running. Jack Wetton, one of the try scorers, involved again. Carnegie tried to defend this. Suggestions of a bit of obstruction there as Bergmanis gets shoved backwards. Now Declan Cusack releasing Foley. Gets the call on the outside from Will Owen. That's a little bit loose, but Cusack will try and tidy it up. Oh, and then there's a nice little short line run from David Nelson, spotted the hole. Quick ball again for Doncaster, but it's loose from Alex Shaw. And Elder, he'd love to punish, so strong. Yorkshire with Irvine. Good high ball, chases on. Lewis is under this, gathers it, or tried to. I think the referee said that went backwards. Looked like it might have nudged forwards from my point of view, but it's a penalty to Carnegie anyway. And worth perhaps a note, Rob Vickerman, of the role that Callum Irvine has played, called in to start last minute, and he's controlled the game well from a Carnegie tempo and positional point of view. Absolutely, and that's such a mindset to get over. You know, people have been sat on the bench coming on after 5-10 minutes perhaps. No, it's difficult to really adjust to it, but to get given the strings to make sure the whole performance is on you and going well, it really is a tough task. I think he's stepped up admirably. Not a big signing. He's come from Hull Ionians, so well versed with Yorkshire rugby, but not perhaps at this level. So great to see him taking control, and that in itself is a really confident kick, probing down to the 22 to give his team a chance to try and get this driving line-up going once more. He's 23 years of age, signed on a 1-year contract, the former Harrogate fly half. So another chance for Carnegie. Can they add to the scoreboard from this position? Mayhew needs to get the arrows right. He's thrown it to the Knights. That'll be frustrating. Michael Hills breaks down the short side. He was met immediately by a wall of blue shirts. Ball looks like it was almost turned over for a moment on the floor, but players not rolling away. Michael Hills taking things into his own hands to make sure they get hold of that ball. All cleared downfield. Another chance for the Knights to try and build in this last few minutes. Volume starts to go up from both benches down below us as well. Nelson, they look to be going towards the back. One way then the other. Now it's back down for James through Cusack. Cusack suggesting to go back from whence it came, but Cusack ends up receiving it. Will Owen on the little run around the outside. Tackle made by Irvine. There's a boot in there from Pete Lucock, and that is no longer part of the game. Law revisions saying you can't get through the ruck and kick the ball. And Carl Dixon isn't going to cope with it, isn't going to take any back chat. You can see here comes the boot, there it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there. You can see what he's trying to do. The law does dictate that if you kick the ball, you will be penalised. If you hook it back conversely, that is still allowed. So really was trying to get the foot round, but it's just dangerous territory, unneeded. Carnegie have been absorbing this Doncaster attack throughout. Very rare for Doncaster not to score in a game. It gives them opportunity now for this platform, as we've said all along, is all these big forwards want.
Big moment in the game, this. Nelson goes to the front, safety first. Alex Shaw brings it down. Carnegie have got to try and add their weight in and stop any Doncaster go forward. It is a decent counter drive from the line out to begin with from the home side. Referee says the ball's there, so they throw out the big men to try and add their weight. Joe Sproston, the first one asked to do so. Oh, what an intercept from Irvine, and they might have a chance to put it through the hands here. Elder will gather it. Will Owen cuts across. Well read from Callum Irvine. He'll receive the ball here, and a little show. Has to get through the crowd, doesn't want to get himself isolated here. Doncaster Knights will be so hungry for the turnover with just a couple of minutes left on the clock. Our time and estimation, it'll be on. Referee Carl Dixon, maybe up to 5 minutes. I'm being signalled in our commentary position as Charlie Foley gathers this one. Fires it back to Buller Macau. Ten-metre line. Doncaster through Cusack. Little short ball. That was nice from Nelson. Picked some good lines since he's come onto the field, the replacement hooker. Away again. James looks to his options right and left. Now they go for Jason Hill. Good tackle from Irvine again. He's worked so hard today. Doncaster with a decent spell of possession, but not making too many yards at the minute. The big choice made there by George Watkins to go up. They could have been exposed down the near side. Had to go man and ball there. The risk paid off. Penalty to the Knights. Goes against Josh Bainbridge, just getting too far past the ball.
Yeah, Irvine's one of these players throughout this whole game. He's really stood up, thrown in last minute, but his defensive qualities have been great. Always wonderful to say that from a fly half, Nick. But he spots it, picks it, gets in the line, and gets that vital turnover, a very crucial point of this game.
Well, they've got more defending to do, the home side. How many times can they put up with Doncaster Knights knocking on the door and keeping them out? Rob Bickerman suspected the Knights might have just too much for Carnegie in this fixture. It was mainly the Knights, but Yorkshire have had a decent second half to get themselves into the lead. Can they maintain that in these last couple of minutes? Little shorter ball. David Nelson on the wraparound. Now they try and flood some men to the left side. Cusack, one of them. Now they go again. There is Cusack. They're trying to create the extra room for Buller-McCow on the outside to go in through Davis. Ball went backwards, but now they're into touch. And Chris Elder is enjoying a bit of a wind-up job.
So again, very pivotal moment. Absolutely right for Elder to enjoy every single minute of that. These last few seconds always quite threatening, as Elder just has a little word with him, shakes hands at the end.
So our clock may be red, but we are on the referee's whistle. So there may just be a minute or two left of this one. Close to the end of a second half that has turned this into a much more enthralling encounter. This is decent from Carnegie, a bit of keep ball. The drive with the possession through Bainbridge. 21-year-old academy product. Had a bit of England under-20s, but the go forward slows down, and only for a moment. Carl Dixon says that's enough for turnover time. They're a little bit upset in the coaches' boxes down below us for that decision.
It's that last glimmer of hope here. You always want this, an opportunity in the last play of the game to have that vital score. It's got to be near enough to the post to really cement it. But with this Doncaster backline, you would not put it past them.
It needs to be a converted try for the win. That's worth reminding ourselves. Tom James, former England and Loughborough students, gets it in. There's a big shove from Carnegie. They're trying to shove Doncaster off this one. Buller-McCow loses it forwards in the tackle. Stedman boots it into touch, but I think we've got a penalty call. The drama continues. They can kick this one into the corner and have another go.
And this is one of those moments that law becomes all the more vital. Right into the corner from Cusack. This Doncaster team set a stall out last year, has been one of the best teams at this driving line out. The rallying call is going amongst the forwards. This is out and out onto them to grab hold of this game.
We'll try and get to a man of the match in just a minute, but we've got to watch and see what happens in these last couple of moments. The jump at the front from Doncaster. Carnegie put the pressure on, but the Knights decide that they need to take it away from the contact area. Shorter ball again. Jason Hill with the carry. They'd love to get a score under the post where the conversion would be so much easier. Sproston, the man who carries that time. Are Carnegie going to be outdone here? Oh, it's loose around the fringes. Straight up the middle from Matt Smith. But now we're coming back for a penalty. It looked for a moment like Carl Dixon was perfectly happy. He's not making any friends in Leeds tonight.
You can see the ruck setting up. Doncaster players come to clear. Matt Smith deeming every single player in front of him was lying down clearly at the back of there. Carl Dixon decided it was not. For me, they did not have control of their body weight. That was a fine decision.
That looked like the ball was out. Now we're going for an old-fashioned tap and go here. Straight to ground. And again. That one came out a little bit quicker. Buller-McCow said he'd been quiet. Is he going to make a name for himself at the death of this one? They look back the other way through James onto Hill. Big tackles again from Carnegie. They need to be. Buller-Macau once more, trying to use the dancing feet. Carnegie hoping they can shepherd them towards that touchline, but they'll come back in field again. Big hits from Carnegie. They've got to be careful they don't overcommit and leave themselves undercooked at home. Quick hands. Cusack onto Owen. Swats away the tackle of Irvine. Is there going to be late drama here? Did that go forward? Dixon doesn't think so. They'll get a chance to reload Doncaster. And they will through Jason Hill, but he goes out the back for Tyson Lewis, and Lewis tries to straighten through the middle. Good tackle from Imilek. Penalty advantage again for the Knights. Tackle goes in as Alex Shaw looks to try and go around the outside. Breathless stuff here. They go short side again. Are they in for the try? Homer with the tackle. That's how close they are. Chris Elder has got himself in a brilliant position to stop that try being scored, but they did still have the penalty advantage. 3 points won't help them. They've got the opportunity for a converted try for the win, and they can still kick this into the corner, don't forget.
Well, you can see a scrum half, a centre and a fullback doing their very best job against three big men in front of them. They did well, they managed to quell it, but it's gone back into the midfield now. Very dangerous position. Cusack opting to kick to the corner.
He didn't risk much more than a metre forward there. But this, another big moment. Big moment as well for referee Carl Dixon. It's a couple of penalties in a row now. And if they continue to give them away, well, Carnegie might have to start doing some defending with less men. The shove is good. Tackle is made on the man who brings the ball down. They transfer it again, Donny. They're trying to get that all-important go forward. Yorkshire Carnegie are pumping hard in defence to try and drive them back. Now they go out. They've got another penalty advantage, and well, we mentioned that indiscipline, and Carl Dixon now goes to the pocket. It is going to be a yellow card. It's going to get ever harder now as Elliot Miller-Mills leaves the field.
The crucial element of that, Nick, losing Miller-Mills now at the prop, the front of the line out, your whole defensive shape, everything you've practiced all week with the driving mauls has now changed. Carnegie have to identify a different tactic to stop the driving line out, or if they opt to, obviously go for the scrum.
Another roll of the dice for Doncaster Knights. Looking to make it 3 from 3. Nelson. They tried to spoil it at the line out. It went backwards enough that Yorkshire Carnegie were able to advance and push Doncaster out a good 10-15 metres back. It's away again from James. Knights go again, they go open this time. Cusack over the top, Buller-Macau with a bit more room, uses the dancing feet, nearly breaking through Buller-Macau. Made some decent yards. Cusack, now they go longer to Hill. Surely they've got numbers here if they can get into the corner. Michael Hills, can they stop the last man? Oh my word! Joe Sproston is down, but has he managed to ground it? Carl Dixon is going to have a chat. Like drama here. If they deem this has been held up, then it will be game over. No try seems to be the decision from the referee.
And here we see it in full flow. What an effort. Hill shifted on. The size of the man here as he tries to bullet through Sproston. He is a serious truck with some serious cargo on him. The theory is there that Wetton and Myerscough managed to stop the ball being put down. They have done everything they could do in that situation to secure the game.
What a sensational finish to the match. Doncaster might feel that that ball got down on the ground, but the referee has discussed it with his assistant, and the decision is made that Yorkshire Carnegie's defensive effort was good enough when it needed to be. Rob Vickerman, your man of the match.
Perfectly linked in their defensive capabilities. Callum Irvine stepped into this game after very little time to prepare for it. His defensive discipline was outstanding. He led the troops well. He kicked when he needed to, and he had that little bit of attacking flair that got him a couple of line breaks. This man was working in a regular job as of last year. This year he has secured a victory in a huge derby game for his team. Well done, Callum Irvine, the Greene King IPA man of the match.
Well, tries from Ollie Steadman and Jack Wetton in that second half were what managed to get Yorkshire Carnegie into the lead, having been trailing Doncaster Knights for much of the game up to that point, and the defensive effort from there on in was immense. They've managed to get a second victory of the season, their first at home, and Doncaster Knights, well, they now have a loss. It's been an enthralling game. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage here. It has finished at Headingley. Yorkshire Carnegie 15, Doncaster Knights 9.